I only spoke once in my life, and, you know, I think I'm going to stick with paper today. You know, unless you know me, and if you don't, I'm the one who's always whistling at people.
Good point.
You know, if you're talking, I'm listening. So, you know, I haven't had a real hard life or anything. It's been pretty good. But I really did think it was hard because I didn't try. And I didn't try because I didn't find a point to. I really didn't. You know, I lived normal. I didn't do anything. And, it was bad. I was miserable. And, you know, this was before I came here. And I did actually come here once before I actually started coming regularly. And I just kind of blew it off. I really did. And, you know, I really wish I would have stayed. Because if I would have stayed then, I probably would have been better off than I was anyplace else. So, you know, I really didn't think it was hard until about two and a half years ago when my uncle, my great uncle, he's bedridden, and, you know, we were happy because they were going to let him actually go, and we were happy about that, but we weren't happy because he was dying. He was suffering way more than he had to, and it was all because someone in his family wouldn't let him just leave. And, you know, my family, we all supported him. We'd all come down and visit him every night until he went to the hospital. And it was hard, it really was. My grandpa told me, you know, stay strong. If you're not strong, then who is? So I did, and it was harder than anything, just to actually let it out after the time was. And at his funeral, I stood right there by my great aunt, telling her it was going to be okay when I knew it wasn't going to be, because she's known him her whole life, and I really couldn't say much any different that it was going to be besides it was. He was in a better place, and that's all I can say. And literally 3 months after that, my great uncle on my mom's side, my grandma's side, her brother, her only brother, died. He was on a roof at a job site, and he had a heat stroke, which led to a heart attack, and he was on the roof for 3 hours before they actually found him. And it was bad, because he was all burnt when we found him, and we couldn't do anything to help him. The paramedics tried, but they couldn't. And what made it all worse was, I thought, you know, you have the grieving process. I thought I went through that fast. I didn't. I'm still hurting from that. And my mom was put as charge of, my mom and my aunt were put as charge of people who were supposed to look after his remains and stuff. And it made their lives hard. And right now, my mom's finally starting to talk about it. She wouldn't talk about it at all before this stuff was done. And when she finally did, it was to me, and I didn't know what to do, because I figured I was over it, but I wasn't. And when that finally happened, I just broke down completely. Not just from him dying, but from everything. And I realized that's when I had to start trying. When I finally did start trying, I was talking with the person I look up to the most, and he said something to me that I really can't believe he said, but I quoted him, and right now I'm trying to find it. Alright, I quote, "People never change, and they are in the world for one reason and one reason only, and that is for themselves." I listened to every word he said, and I told him, I just can't believe that. And he then told me there is no completely selfless act that you can connect to anything, and then he just started to ramble. I'm sorry, I lost attention after that. I started really thinking, and that's when I realized, I wasn't there. I stayed there for a couple of days, my grandma, to make sure she was okay, and I was thinking later, and I realized there was one person that did. He gave up everything for us just so we could keep going, and that's Jesus Christ. And when he got up on the cross and just gave his life for us, I realized, that was one thing, that was one person, I hate to say it, that proved my grandpa wrong. And I hate to say that I don't want to prove him wrong, but I do, because there can be good people and bad people, and I saw a dark side of him that day that I never want to see again. My uncle was his best friend, and when he died, it was bad. And he's gotten better since then, but it was really, really bad. I never want to see him that way, because if he can go and be angry at the world and God and everything, what hope is there for the rest of us, I thought. And, I realized he did it out of spite and anger, and he's sorry for that. And if he can forgive, anybody can. Because if you give up on God, then there's no one you can turn to, even if you're all by yourself. So don't give up on God just because you're mad. If you give up on him, there's no one when everything is said and done for the day. There's an emptiness there that you can't get back.